Good evening and welcome to the third round of our 1980 Procar Championship. Coming to you tonight from the Norisring street circuit in Nürnberg, where we will be going for quite a few hectic laps around the four-turn track that is the Norisring, which is promising to be quite an interesting race, I believe. Especially the fact that it'll be close and personal for all participants. The track itself looks like this at the Norisring, a 2.3 kilometer temporary street circuit. And our drivers will be going for 50 laps, which will equal 115 kilometers. In terms of the points, points to be scored tonight is, as usual, 20 points for first, 15 for second, 12 for third, 10 for fourth, and 8 for fifth, 6 for sixth, and then 4, 3, 2, 1 points down to 10th. The drivers will need to complete 90% of the race distance to be eligible for points. Which tonight will be 45 laps completed to be eligible to score points, that being whether you cross the finish line or not. The points standings is as follows, with Acerclinth having won 2 races and leading the championship on a total of 40 points. Grand Ridol is second with 30, and I believe last I saw off the grid, Grand Ridol took pole with Acerclinth in second. We then see Anders Nilsson in third in the championship, further 10 points behind on 20. And we have Richard Wilkes, who's qualified 4th, Nilsson qualified 5th. In an equal 4th with Gabriel Sturr on 12 points each. As far as I can see, Gabriel Sturr is not racing tonight, but the top 4 in the championship standings are top 4 after the qualifying session. So it looks like if you're high up in the points in the championship standings, you're also likely to be high up in the qualifying and race situations. Coming up here at ISO next weekend, we will have the 6th Gran Premio di San Marino, round 3 out of 16 for the 1986 Formula 1 Championship, that being February the 19th, and the race will be starting at 2000 CET with our good Jason White in the booth, with I'd assume Alberto Ibanez alongside him. And if the real life race is anything to go by for the San Marino Grand Prix, the virtual one will be just as interesting, because both the early parts of that race and the finishing, say 15 laps or so, became very interesting indeed. Before we go to the racetrack as well, I can hear some of the drivers out on this warm-up session already. Let's have a look at the trivia question that you all can think about and ponder while the race is ongoing. The tubular steel space frame chassis of the M1 was the work of which motorsports engineer? Was it A. Bob Jota Wallace, B. Gianpaolo Dallara, or C. Gordon Murray? I will say that I got it wrong, but I didn't know. And for reference, our drivers for this evening will have 2 sets of tyres each for the entire event, that being qualifying, warm-up and the race. Now out on track we can see Jonatan and Keo McKeel's flying past. Then we have Wilkes, Bos, Matheus da Silva, Drexler and Grant Riddall, Saber, Rob de Vries, Alberto Ibanez, Anders Nilsson with the quickest lap so far, Slapinski and unsure who that was, Jereb maybe. So we can see it's quite quick around here. Here we can see Jonatan all crossed up going into the braking zone for the final turn. Let's actually jump on board with Jon here and check out this track. Through the kink onto the start-finish straight. A slight left kink, and then it's straight down here for a while, and then it'll swing slightly right after this camera vehicle frame. Curved braking zone into turn 1, the hairpin. Nicely done by John. Get as far out to the side here as possible. Try to get a run. And then down into a right-left chicane section for turns 2, and here is turn 3. Very easy to hit the inside wall there. All the way out to the rubble stone laying there. Curved braking zone again, down into the final hairpin where we can see Jon looks like he locked up, round wide. Again, get as far to the outside as you dare without hitting the wall, and then this left kink back onto the start-finish straight. Short, quick and hectic. Just the way we like it. We have, for a one-off drive, we have Jakob Fredriksson in the number 99 Alimpo Motorsports car. The car driven in a real-life series by Jan Lammers. Here we have the gaggle of cars. Ooh, a bit of contact between Ibanez and Grant Riddall there. See, we have Ricardo Mendes in the number 25 car here tonight racing as well. We can see also that the BNS cars have swapped to the green stripe on their cars, which I think will be the case for the rest of the season. Dave Miller will be driving the second Sauber Racing Switzerland car. Raoul Jereb, I think, is in a one-off drive in that Kanacher car, usually campaigned by Gabriel Stur. Oh dear, a bit too wide. Easily done. It's difficult to get these things to stop. You have Giovanni Santorama. I think he is laying inside the top 10 in the championship standings. He's had a couple of good races early on. Well, had one good one, really good one at Donington, and then a little bit less good last time out at Monaco, but has proven that he has some decent pace in that Sol Auto car. So it will be interesting to see how he goes tonight. Grant fastest at the moment, but clambering the sidewalk ain't going to do any good for his tires. There's only 1/1000th of a second between Grant and Wilkes here. Ooh, that was a bit close. Simon Wattman in the number, I think that's number 98 car, possibly 90. Marco Rennsport entry. We can see here it ain't easy to get the cars stopped consistently. That's for sure. Because the drivers are getting quite high speeds and they have to try and get around braking zones that aren't straight, so very much a how well can you work the brake pedal and get pressure on without locking the wheels too much. When even then, as we can see with David here, you can still go in a bit too quickly and the rear end will happily overtake you. McKeel's with a similar issue there, but able to hold on to the car through the turn 2-3 section. And now Wilkes is back at the front. Matthew Sebagnoni locked up, nearly striking Centorama in the process, but all is safe and well. Ooh, Simon with a troublesome gearbox by the sounds of things. Hopefully he found a gear somewhere in the end. Here's Gabriel Stur, so he's now out on track. Good to see. So simply late. Weren't in qualifying, but will be in the race. Oh dear, Simon Wattman all crossed up. Oof. Must have had it loose as he tried to get the car turned right and then just snapped. I will say ahead of this race, it's difficult to say anything else other than that Slapinski, Ridol, Wilks looks to be those to expect to win, but I would probably raise a finger to say that Jakob Fredriksson or Rob de Vries could surprise us as well. But anyway, time has run out, so shortly the race session will tick over and we'll be looking to go. Yes, there we are. So one formation lap and then we will be racing here tonight. Simply a question of allowing the game to catch up. Usually takes just a little bit for it to get around to the working order of things. So there we are. On pole is Grant Ridol in the Hans Stuck car. Second on the grid would be Slapinski in the number 5 car. Richard Wilkes will be third for Schutz Racing, number 41. Anders Nilsson is fourth for BMW Austria, the Dieter Quester number 77 car. Alberto Quino lines up fifth for BNS Fabrications, number 27, with Jon Timin sixth for Manfred Cassani Racing. Giovanni Sandrame 7th for Sol Auto, with Joabos 8th for Sauber. Rob de Vries 9th for Scuderia Basilea, and Francisco Amaral rounding out the top 10 for GS Tuning. Ricardo Mendes 11th for BNS Fabrications 25, with Ray Ridol 12th in the second GS Tuning car, number 81. Simon Wattman lines up 13th for Marco Rennsport, with Dave Miller 14th for Sauber. 15th for Jakob Fredriksson in the Alimpo car, with Matthew Sebagnone 16th for Eggenberger. Kermi Kiels is 17th for DS Tuning, with Luciano Rocha 18th in the second Scuderia Basilea car. Jason White will be 19th for the Mazzario team, with Raul Jareb 20th for Team Schnitzer. Michael Drexler will be 21st in the second of the Mazzario team cars, with David Saber 22nd for BNS Fabrications. Matheus da Silva will be 23rd in the Jürgensen and Son number 42. Gerwelster is last and 24th off the grid in the Kanacher GT. Alberto Ibanez is actually last in 25th. But here we go, heading to the start-finish location to get the race underway. We don't have any start lights as such, so we will be having to look towards the top. Beside the Grundisch building we have a crane with a flag man. I wouldn't want to be in that position because that is plenty high enough for me to be worried, but I think the final cars are lined up. We're just waiting for the green flag. And the race is underway. And looks like Grant Vidal has had a good start, as has Schlapinski. Looks like Grant will be able to hold on to the lead here with Wilkes in third. Let's see if everyone gets through this section without too much trouble. A little bit of side-by-side contact, but looks like everyone gets through there all right. And Ibanez, and there comes Rocha, so maybe they had a little bit of issue off the start-finish line. It looks like everyone is making their way through this section here, down into the final hairpin. Oh dear, Fredriksson all crossed up with Rob de Vries, but gets the car stopped up the inside of, I think that's Juha Bols in the turquoise Sauber car. And looks like everyone has been able to get through, but unfortunately Matheus da Silva is out, and it looks like maybe he was involved with Ibanez and Luciano Rocha, who are both well off the back of the grid. But Grant Vidal is in the lead after lap 1, Schlapinski second, Wilkes third, Nielsen fourth, Tim fifth, Sandorame sixth, Equino seventh, Bors eighth, Amaral ninth, and I couldn't quite make out Fredriksson in 10th. And here we have side by side coming through. Let's see if we can catch up to that. Sabagnoni and Miller. I think that may have been Drexler and Michiels, or maybe Reb and Stur, but Stur currently 21st and trying to make his way up the grid. Ooh, Rolly Reb way too deep. Contact with another car. Gets the car turned around again and rejoins in 22nd. And just the tiniest bit of a moment there, and that's all it takes. Unfortunately, I think that may have been Jason White he had a bit of contact with, but they are able to keep going, while Ibanez, unfortunately, Big Al has retired. Ooh, Stur too deep in the braking zone there. Runs around the curbing, and past him goes Mendes. Oh, and up the inside here is Saber on Wattmann. Wattmann trying to hold on around outside though. Inside for the left-hander at turn 3. And able to hold on to 15th for now. Great little bit of action here. Let's jump on board with Saber, so we can see up ahead as well Sabagnoni and Miller, I think, in a battle for 13th and 14th. Grant Vidal with the fastest lap, 54.9. That is blazing this early on. Ooh, Wattmann crossed up. Saber around outside there and up to 15th. Wattmann gets going fairly quickly there, but unfortunately loses out in that situation. Ooh, and a big gaggle of cars here. De Vries in 12th, Fredriksson 11th, Ray Vidal 10th. And Ray looking for a move here on Amaral. Looks like Amaral has had a good race, but runs a little bit wide out to the final hairpin, but gets a good run off the turn still. Amaral's car is looking just a tad bit loose. Maybe running very little rear wing, and that's making the car just a tad bit nervous. So 1/10 into this race now. This is a true gaggle of cars here. This is one of the things with this track, it's easy to run together, but difficult to pass. Oh dear, someone causing a yellow flag down here. No clear perpetrator though, so I think everyone was able to keep going relatively well. Oh, Ray with all just a tad bit wide there. On turn in, but Fredriksson not close enough to make use of that. A little bit further up we can see our Bors running in a lonely 7th at the moment, relatively lonely, about a second, 2 seconds either way, front and behind. Centrame and Tim 6th and 5th, Nilsson still in 4th and keeping within sight of Wilkes, Schlapinski and Grant Riddall. Grant a little bit wide here, and a little bit crossed up, but so far holding on in front of Schlapinski. Back to the gaggle of cars, Fredriksson again looking up the inside of Ray. So Fredriksson has made his way past the Vries, I think, since... Oh no, Drexler spinning! Maybe Stemagnoni missed a gear and Drexler ended up running into his rear. Had to slam on the brakes and that's why he lost it. But back going he gets in 23rd now, unfortunately for Drexler. That was unfortunate. Oh, we have another car, Mendes off as well. Whatever happened here then? Ooh, hit the wall. Oh, and gets back in front of Stur and spins. Ay. That's unfortunate for all of them. So Mendes down to 23rd. So Stur up to 17th now and working on Michiels. Oh, and likewise Michiels trying to work on a way to get past Jason White. See there, Fredriksson has had a moment or two, some slight damage to his front end. That's another easy thing to have happen around here. Here we are, I'm back with my broadcast assistant helping me out here. You can see there Grant, Wilkes and Schlapinski way in front. Looks like Mendes may have had a moment and been forced to retire. Unfortunately, as that is. So look like Stur has made another couple of positions here, as noticed. Make that 2 positions as he's now up to 15th and working on Sibagnoni, so both of them has gotten past Jason White. Oh, and Sibagnoni way wide. This could be Stur's opportunity. Well, tad bit of contact there. Oh, more contact in behind. That's Jereb, I think. Where Stur is trying to get up the inside of Sibagnoni, but Sibagnoni really late on the brakes. Able to hold on for now. That was Michiels actually all sideways off turn 3 earlier. Stur trying around outside that time on Sibagnoni. Don't think that'll work, but maybe if he can get to the right hand side here, he can get a better braking zone. But ooh, just maybe Sibagnoni on the inside. White trying to look up the inside too. Stur maybe with a better run off the turn here now. Got the cut back and up to 14th, but not quite past yet. Sibagnoni with a bit of gear change, I think. So this will be the bravest of the late breakers down here. And Sibagnoni has proved that he is very strong on the brakes, but ooh, Stur getting up the inside still. Side by side again. Soon side by side for a full lap. Sibagnoni still up the inside, brakes late. Ooh, a bit of contact. Oh, and both of them getting really close here, still side by side. Stur, I think, with a better run off the turn now and gets 14th. A very hard worked 14th place, but 14th nonetheless. What a fight. Unfortunately for them, that means they are now 19 seconds behind next guy in front, who is Alberto Quino. In a battle with Dave Miller. Rob de Vries just a little bit further ahead with Ray Riddle in 10th. Ferguson passed him now up to 9th. Amaral trying to get grips with Juha Boos, who himself is trying to keep up with Centoram by the looks of things. Jon Tim in a very lonely 5th. And Anders Nilsson likewise. And then we have the trio battling for 1st, 2nd and 3rd, running relatively close. On a yellow flag up here. Someone may have spun there, they have. I think that was one of the Masayo cars. Unsure which one. Possibly Jason White, unfortunately. He was having a great race, but unfortunately down to 21st or 22nd he goes. Very easily done, especially as we get later in this race. We can see here up ahead the kind of traffic that our lead drivers are getting into now. That will be the deciding factor, I think, who works the traffic better, who's able to make lap time and avoid incidents. Oh, someone else off. Oh no, oh, no, 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 no! Grant Riddle held up by Sebagnoni, who went off. Grant Riddle down to third. Dearie me. Well, that's one of those things that can happen. Let's actually wind that back on a replay and see how that looked like from Grant's point of view. Getting around, you can see here, can barely see anything. There he can see, oh dear, someone's off. And he has no time to try and work that out and try to get out of the way. It's simply he has already committed to the turn and that's it. That's unfortunate for Grant. He is down to third. Still less than 2 seconds behind Schlapinski. But still, going from first to third is never fun, no matter how it happens. It looks like Wilkes is real close to Schlapinski up ahead. So the battle is on for first place. Grant looking to get ever closer as well. And the gaps here will obviously ebb and flow as the run goes on, but oh dear! Grant really late on the brakes there, trying to outbrake Sebagnoni and make his way past. That loses him a whole heap of time. It looks like the gap at the front for the moment has stabilized. Let's look further back. Nilsson still in 4th, Jon Tim still in 5th, Semperane still in 6th, Bors in 7th, Amaral in 8th, but now with Ferguson in really close fellowship here. So let's see what Ferguson can do about Amaral. Let's follow this battle for a lap or two. Going all squirmy on the brakes, trying to get the car stopped. Yates and White being very cautious and making sure to get out of the way of the faster cars. Nicely done. Though in a battle with David Saber right there. So we get 2 battles in one here. Fortunately for Yates, he loses out to Saber for now. Oh, and look at that, Ferguson with a great run out of the first hairpin. May be able to make his way past Amaral now. Oh, not quite. Amaral with a good outbraking maneuver up the inside through turn 2. Ferguson again a good run off turn 3, but likewise for Amaral. And for now, no positional change as of yet. Let's just see here, Ferguson has got it set up quite well. Maybe he can get a toe down the front straight. But no, not quite. Meanwhile, I noticed a little bit further back, Stur and Michiels and others are fighting real hard. Oh, someone has dropped out to the top 3. Whoever's dropped back now. Wilks in first, Grant in second, Anders in third. Schlapinski down to 4th. Whatever happened to Schlapinski? Looks like it happened a little while ago. Doesn't look like we'll be able to get it on the replay, unfortunately. I'll let it go to this hairpin. Nope, okay. So it happened somewhere where we didn't quite catch it. Oh, Michiels trying to get going, and Schlapinski ending up in the wrong place at the wrong time. So Grant now second, Wilks now in the lead. So all hands on deck in this race. Halfway through in 1.5 laps time. Or half a lap's time, I suppose one should say. Amaral trying to get up the inside of Drexler there. So Amaral looks to have lost out to Ferguson, who is up to 8th. And not too far behind Bors in the Sauber Switzerland car. Now it's Stern, Rocha and Michiels in a battle. Oh no! Bit too much throttle for Rocha and ending up right in front of Michiels. Both of them losing out a little bit of time. So Stur gets a bit of a gap. And they are about 2 seconds closer to Dave Miller at this point in time, who himself has dropped 12 seconds to Equino, and there we can see Simon Wattmann with a bit of a half spin, rejoining in the Marco Rennsport car. De Vries just outside the top 10 in 11th, with Ray Riddall inside the top 10 in 10th. In the center arm, and not at all far in front of Joa Bors now, so looks like this could be a 3-way fight for 6th. And Schlapinski trying to catch up to Anders Nilsson and at least get 3rd place back in this race. Let's follow this battle for 6th, 7th and 8th for a little bit, and I'll keep a track of the time differences between the top 2 and 3rd and 4th. Bors with a half of a think of going up the inside of Center Army in turn 3, but that's never a good place to place your car. Either you spin the driver you're trying to pass, or you hit the inside wall. There's very rarely a 3rd option there. Oh, but a great entry to that hairpin. Get himself really close, within 2/10 of Center Army. Maybe a chance at a pass down at turn 1 for Bors. He is getting closer. Let's see what happens down here. He's definitely thinking about it. But Center Army tries to cover him off and is able to do so by the looks of things. Nice fair defensive maneuver there. let's jump on board Centurames Sol Auto BMW, looking back over his rear wing towards the Po sponsored Sauber Switzerland car, and not too far behind either is the Alimpo Motorsports entry. As well, I just noticed that time difference looks very close indeed. Ślepinski right in behind Nilsson now, in the battle for third and fourth. Nothing should happen there, so let's jump back and watch this. Ooh, Santorama a little bit locked up there. Very different lines through that chicane section. Ślepinski has made his way past Nilsson, but loses it under braking. Oh, look at that. I think Nilsson may have missed a gear there, because that's a huge speed difference down the straight. But then obviously come the braking zone, being a bit too tight to the wall, carries just a bit too much speed into the hairpin and spins and loses the position again. Meanwhile, the battle is on just in front of the Sol Auto Centurame Boss battle between Rocha and Michiels. Well, they are very much entwined in their battle, but looks like they might be moving over to the side here. At least to an extent. Yep, going way wide there to let the faster car by. Trying to let Fredriksson pass too, by the looks of things. It looks like most other battles are spread out at the moment, so the battle between Nilsson and Ślepinski is definitely on. Real late on the brakes, but not able to make the move there. Maybe into turn 2, but Nilsson gets a good run off turn 1. Santorama with a bit of a gap now to Boss, and likewise Boss to Fredriksson, with Michiels in between them. Michiels now gets out of the way. Oh, Boss wide on the exit. Fredriksson looking to get up the side of him. Not quite able to make it happen. Maybe trying to look up the inside here into turn 2. Ooh, really trying for it, but doesn't happen. Ooh, Boss again with understeer. Fredriksson up his inside now. Michiels spinning in the background. That's unfortunate. But Fredriksson with a slight overlap on Boss. Boss actually a little bit quicker down the straight. Wow. But maybe Fredriksson... Oh, really late on the brakes for Fredriksson. Can he get the car stopped? Oh, all locked up. But he gets the car stopped. Keeps Boss on its outside. And Fredriksson with a fantastic move up into 7th. What a move by the Alimpo driver there on the Sauber Racing Switzerland counterpart. Great little scrap that, and Santorama still not too far ahead. Looks like Wilkes may have been held up in traffic because he is now 4 seconds or so behind Grant Goodall. So Fredriksson now will be looking to try and catch up to Centorame. 1.5 seconds the gap. As well as, ooh, locked up, not lose out to Bors, which he just does. Locks up on the tires. He locked up last when he passed Bors a lap or two ago. So that's unfortunate for Fredriksson. All the work left to do again. Though he looks like he may have an opportunity right now down into turn 4. Not quite. Looks to be waiting until the start-finish straight and turn 1 again. And the battle is on as well for 10th. Rob de Vries has made his way past Ridol, and Alberto Quinos right behind him as well. Ooh, Quino all locked up. Right front being turned to a square. If that is kept up, that looked very, very unpleasant indeed. It looks like Richard Wilkes is actually losing pace because Nilsson is closing in, as is Slapinski. And a yellow flag down here. Not sure exactly what that may have been for. Maybe someone had a bit of a half spin out of the turn 4 hairpin. Oh, and Equino into the pits, possibly for new tires. Oh, that's a big lockup. Yeah, probably in for new tires, and missed his pit stall by quite a bit. So maybe he actually locked up so much that he punctured the right front. But either way, into the pits he goes, and Dave Miller will be up to 12th. Ray still in 11th. De Vries up to 10th. Amaral still in 9th, and Fredriksson still stuck behind Bors in 8th. Ooh, but maybe now with an opportunity. Ooh, not quite able to make it up the inside, but running right in behind Bors. A brave outbraking maneuver could seal the deal. And a yellow flag up here is for them. You never want to see that when you're trying to make a move. Bors able to hold on. Fredriksson maybe with a good run off the turn, not good enough though. Unfortunately for both Bors and Fredriksson, Centorame running away with 6th place, 3.5 seconds now the gap between himself and Bors. And I was told that the rear tires take a real beating, as Jereb unfortunately has retired. Ooh, looks like a big crash. That looked very strange. Ooh, oh, dearie me. Yeah, that's a big one. There may be catch fencing, as Drexler unfortunately has a little spin. But obviously it can still give way. And Aquino back into the pits again. For new tire, for another set of tires. Stir up to 13th then. When Fredriksson finally passed Bors, looks like he was able to make the move down into turn 1, made Bors go defensive. That's indeed what happened. Bors defensive, ran just a bit too deep, a bit too much understeer. Fredriksson earlier and better on the throttle. Oh, and actually a bit of side-by-side contact even, but Fredriksson passed and up into 7th. Now with 4 seconds to try and catch up to Centorame if he wants to make it into the top 6. Make that 4.5 seconds. Meanwhile, Nilsson down to 4th. Looks like he may have had a bit of a moment. Lost out to Ślepinski. 4 seconds behind now. Ślepinski 2.5 seconds behind Wilks. Who himself is 5 seconds behind Grant. So Grant, despite his early mishap with the lapped car, looks set to win this with 10 laps to go. Because with 5 seconds he can even be a little bit careful lapping cars. Oh, and a yellow flag here, someone has had a spin, that's Michiels, and looks like Drexler may be involved. Wilks all crossed up, loses out a bit of time still. Centorame actually catching up to Jon Tim here. And Fredriksson again with a bit of a moment. He's now back to 9th. Not right in front of Rob de Vries, I thought it was, but it was his teammate Procar in behind Fredriksson there. Amaral in 8th then, Bors up to 7th again, and Centorame only a second or so behind Jon Tim. Let's jump on board Centorame's car. Oh, there's a spin there. One of the BNS cars, possibly Sabre. Look at that traffic in front of Jon Tim. He's white, a tiny bit crossed up, but gets out of the way there. Nicely done. Well and truly out of the way. Going over the bumpy braking zone down here. Right up in behind Jon Tim now. And the Manfred Cassani Racing entry. Ooh, and a missed gear for Centorame. Bachmann trying to get out of the way. I think he was able to do so. Nicely done. Then Centorame short shifted in that chicane, really starting to feel the tyre woes. Looks like little Al has unfortunately retired the car. Just saw that on the scoreboard. Ooh, Stir with a bit of a spin there in front of Jonatan. But out of the way and out of trouble. I think this is currently the closest battle on track. You see both of them slightly scraping along the outside barrier there. As we have 5 laps to go, everyone finishing their laps now will be eligible for the points for a top 10 finish. Even if we have several drivers being caught up in an incident. So we actually have one closer fight on the track than one we were watching earlier. We have the battle for 16th between Simon Wattmann and Jason White. So Marco Rennsport versus the Mazzario team. Someone may have had a bit of a half spin back down there, but no one stationary as we saw the white shot there, so I think that was all good. And actually Slapinski up to second now. So it looks like Wilkes has had a spin. Maybe he was the one who span. Oh, That looks like Wilks, is it? Yes, it is. Wilks had a spin off of the final turn, trying to get the power on, and Slapinski went past with 2 laps to go, and Grant Riddall now on his final lap. So Grant Riddall had a bit of an incident with a lapped car earlier, but no major contact was made, and he has been able to keep going from there. And with the demise of the other top 3 drivers, make that top 4, I suppose. I think he was down to 4th. With slight mistakes by everyone else. He is the one who is, I suppose one could call it the lucky one. As he takes the win here tonight. Second for Cesariusz Lapinski. Third will be Richard Wilks, just ahead of Nilsson, who will finish 4th. I think Nilsson will be the happiest one out of the bunch with a 4th place finish. Jon Tim looks like he will be just about able to hold on to 5th. So top 5 finish for Jon, with Sentorame finishing in 6th. 7th for Juha Boos, a hard-fought one. Francisco Amaral will finish in 8th. Looks like Fredriksson, a bit of an up and down race, will finish in 9th. And final points paying position looks to be Rob de Vries for Scuderia Basilea in 10th. He has already finished, so Rob de Vries finishes in 10th. Ray Riddall will finish 11th with Dave Miller in 12th. Gabriel Sturr finishes 13th with Luciano Roja 14th. Michael Drexler finishes 15th with Simon Wattman in 16th, just ahead of Jason White in 17th. Kiomi Kiels finishes 18th with David Saber 19th, Matthew Sebagnone 20th, with our retirees being Alberto Junior, Raul Yareb, Ricardo Mendes, Alberto Ibanez and Mateus da Silva. Wow, what a race! Jakob Fredriksson making a bit of a comment there. He still had his wool sweater on in the car, so no wonder he had a bit of a struggle in the race. Good one early, but obviously the heat might have gotten a bit too much towards the end of the race. Let's see, while we wait to see if any of the drivers would like to have a bit of a chat with us, let's have a look at the trivia question for the evening. So the question was, the tubular steel space frame chassis of the M1 was the work of which motorsports engineer? Was it A, Bob Jota Wallace, B, Gianpaolo Dallara, or C, Gordon Murray? And the answer is B, Gianpaolo Dallara. So congratulations to BL and Anders, who I see knew the answer. And let's see, coming up at ISO, we have the 6th Gran Premio di San Marino, round 3 of 16 in the F1 1986 Championship, a race won on fuel conservation in real life and a bit of luck. So the race in real life was very interesting to watch, and very likely that the simulated one that we have will be just as fun and interesting, if not more interesting to watch. But with that, considering no drivers have come into the booth to have a chat, we'll cap off the broadcast here. So to all of you watching, thank you for tuning in, and I hope you all enjoyed this as much as I did bringing it to you. Until next weekend for the Gran Premio di San Marino, take care and look after each other, everyone, and have a great week. Good night.